Now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting-edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. From AggieYell.com, the managing editor, Mark Passwaters. How you doing, Mark?
Doing good, Brian. How about you?
Doing well. As a longtime LSU fan, welcome to the SEC.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I feel, flattered or somewhat nervous about that. But, we are, on behalf of Aggies everywhere, we are very glad to be here.
Well, tell me what it's like around Aggie land right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the compounded frustration of having last week's game postponed, just the build-up and all the anxiety and all the excitement. Now you have College Game Day, national audience, and it's your season opener, not just the SEC opener. The excitement level is at a fever pitch at this point. I mean, and that's probably an understatement, too. When's
the last time you've seen this kind of excitement going on at Aggie land?
Maybe never. The closest I can come is 2002 when number one Oklahoma came in and A&M had game day there at that point, and they went down to the wire. But, the stakes here are, from an Aggies perspective are much, much higher. New coach, new system, new league, new everything. It's an opportunity for a rebirth in a sense. And, that just makes everything so much more compounded than it would be if this were just a regular season opener.
I can imagine it's just completely re-energized, that whole program. Not that you needed it, but I can only imagine the electricity with this thing right now.
Well, at the end of last year, there was an awful lot of frustration and disappointment because that was a very talented football team that was extremely good for 30 minutes, and then they had a nasty habit of imploding. And, at the end of last year, there was a lot, I wouldn't say there was second guessing, but there was a lot of disappointment, a lot of, wondering why, what happened here. And, some of the old habits of, we're never going to catch up to Texas. We're just never going to reach our potential. You started hearing a lot of that, and it's creeped into recruiting. And then Coach Sumlin comes in, you get a shot in the arm with his, new approach to things. For instance, I can't imagine Mike Sherman showing up anywhere for a high school football game in a helicopter. And that's what Sumlin did last night for the St. Pius Steelers game. It's just a totally different vibe. And then you add in, the dream come true for, nearly every Aggie to get to the SEC. It's a new world.
I had to laugh. Earlier this week, I saw an article where Mike Sherman, who was not all in on this SEC move, says now it looks like Texas is in the shadow of Texas A&M. Did you see that?
I did see that, and I kind of chuckled when he said, I wasn't opposed to the SEC move. Yeah, Coach, you were. You told me you were.
But, I mean, in a lot of ways, he's right. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Longhorns right now.
No, I mean, it's for the first time in a long time, certainly going back to the mid-'90s, the Aggies dominate the headlines. You pick up a paper in Dallas, you pick up a paper in Houston, if people still pick up papers, you turn on ESPN or the radio or whatever, and they're talking Aggie football. And that's a very refreshing change of pace. For a program that has either been overlooked or, kind of mocked for not being able to get out of its own way for a long period of time.
All right, so let's take it one step at a time. First of all, first game for new coach Kevin Sumlin. At this point, what's your impression of the way Sumlin runs a program?
Well, I'll tell you what, the buy-in on how he does business has been very high. And, say what you will about Mike Sherman, the players loved him. He engendered a lot of loyalty. Even after a 6-6 season, people weren't second-guessing him on the team. They were everywhere else, but, the guys were like, hey, it's not his fault. But, he's come in, and he brings a totally new vibe, a sense of confidence to the point of almost arrogance, which is great if you're a football coach. He's just different than any other A&M coach that I can remember. And that's going back to RC and and even a little before that. He's just he does things his way, and he has no compunction about it, and people like it. One thing that he does is you can always tell when A&M has a new commit because he gets on Twitter and just puts one word, "Yes, sir," in all and all block type. And there are T-shirts now in College Station that say "Yes, sir" on them. He's just brought a new vibe. I hate to say he's kind of modernized the approach to coaching in College Station, but the buy-in's been good with the players. The student body loves him, and most of the people on my site really like him a lot. So if positive vibes get you anywhere, he's ahead of the curve.
All right, and then you throw in a first-year starting quarterback, a redshirt freshman, and Johnny Manziel going in his first ball game against a team like Florida that ranks 8th nationally in total defense last year.
Yeah, that should be unnerving, but knowing Johnny, he's not nervous. He's one of those kids that just has that, he and someone are a very good match for each other. They've got that confidence to the point of arrogance, and there's nothing that you can throw at him that's going to intimidate him. When you watch the kid go into a huddle with, a very experienced offensive line, a preseason first-team All-American, a 4-year starter at center, and start grabbing face masks and tell him, "This is what I want to do," when you haven't had a single snap in college football, the kid's either crazy or he's got a lot of self-confidence. And that's Johnny Manziel. You and I both know he's a legend in high school football, and he really thinks he's going to go in there in front of 90,000 people and just do what he does.
He's crazy, and that's good in the SEC.
Yeah,
That's real good. All right,
yeah.
And then you have the A&M defense, and their challenge is going to be to stop Florida's run game. Right now, it's hard to tell what they've got offensively because people want to make a big deal about Florida looking a little suspect against Bowling Green, but they had to be running vanilla offense last week.
You would have to think so, but I was kind of surprised that they didn't try to make some changes when Bowling Green stuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
But they are who they are. They're going to want to consume the clock. They're going to want to run the football. I don't think they'll be 2-to-1 run to pass like they were last week, but this is the team that had the slowest pace of any team in college football offensively last year. They're going to want to grind it out and then attack on defense. And A&M's job is going to have to be stop the run and make Jeff Driscoll beat you through the air. So you'll probably see a lot of 8-man fronts. Stephen Campbell will probably come up from safety. It's going to be imperative for guys like Jonathan Stewart and Sean Porter to make plays not only against the run, but the short passes that Florida is going to try to run near the line of scrimmage, little quick outs, short slants, things like that, and, just contain things. Don't let the athletic players of Florida get loose because that's what'll kill you. Frankie Hammond's touchdown, the 50-yard pass last week, wasn't a bomb. It was a 2-yard out where he broke a tackle and just went. So, you're going to have to make plays at or near the line of scrimmage and just, kind of limit them and make them alter their plan because if they can run and they can just, complete the little dink and dunk here and there, they'll be perfectly fine with it.
And then lastly, just the fact that you're playing the game at Kyle Field. Now, Florida sees these kinds of crowds every week in the SEC, but it's probably going to be more of a factor in terms of support for the Aggies than it's going to be any kind of a negative thing against the Gators. Would you agree?
I would tend to agree with that. I'm very, very curious to hear the noise when Florida comes out on the field for the first time. Been to a lot of exciting games. That OU game in 2000, the 99 Bonfire game, OU when game day came back in 2006, the Nebraska game in 2010. All those were exciting games. The crowd was really into it. This, I'm expecting this to be even louder. But, what the help will be won't necessarily be intimidating Florida, but maybe it'll help them make the occasional unforced error, the false start or something like that, maybe screw up a pattern when they can't hear something. But yeah, just having the backing when you come out there and you're walking on the field and you can feel the noise, that's just that extra. I wouldn't say an unintended consequence, but it is something that helps fire up the home team. And hey, you'll take whatever you can get.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to watching it tomorrow. There's no question. I wish I was going to be in the stadium, but I have a feeling I'm going to have a good seat just watching it on television tomorrow. Mark, enjoy it. It ought to be a blast, and good luck to the Aggies this weekend.
Thanks. I appreciate it.